My friends, I am coming today and we are going to go ahead and take a stroll down reporting lane. That's right. We are going to take our leadership to the next level. And if you haven't had a chance to fully explore the reporting options in your workstation, hopefully this is going to be a good tutorial for you, a good starting place so you can then use it to do what you do best, lead your team. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and get this pulled up. All right, so I have my screen here. I'm already into my workstation. I already clicked on the reporting tab, and when you click there, you do have three different options. So very quickly, I just want you guys to know, if you're not familiar yet with what each of these do. So view my performance is going to give you total and complete control of everything in the reporting tab. This is usually, not gonna lie, this is usually my go-to. This is pretty much what I get into every single time that I'm pulling reports. Now, if you just want to see just your team, just want to look at some basic info, you can go to view team. That's going to pull it up. Now, myself as a star director, I do have directors under me. So that means I'm just seeing the people who are under myself, right? I am either their sponsor, their director, or their star director. So those are the people that I would be able to see here. I wouldn't be able to see my directors and their teams, if that makes sense, okay? So when you get to that point, that's gonna be a little bit different for you. The sales reports, this is where you can go in. You can, in fact, let me go ahead and click on it because there's nothing there that I need to worry about. So I'm not gonna click into too much, simply because I don't want to share everybody's info. But the sales reporting tab is going to give you some really fun stuff. I really look at this more for marketing and when I'm doing like true coaching or action calls, okay? So the first thing here is customer purchase history. That's going to be able to see, like if you're looking for a specific customer and you're like, what kind of scents do they like, right? Things like that. Who ordered the scent boho from me, right? Those are different things that I can search for and filter through all of my order history. Reorder, again, same kind of thing. Product history, again, more of that specific product. Promotions follow up. So that is when people go to your website, your PWS, your personal website, and they go there and they want to sign up for the Harry Potter stuff, right? They want to be made aware when Harry Potter comes available. February, by the way. That's where I would go to see who signed up to look for that, right? So that is a very useful tab, specifically if we're re-releasing some things. More recently, we've re-released a lot of our Star Wars and The Mandalorian with the child warmer. So I could go back into promotions follow-up and I could go back and see who maybe ordered the scent, the Mandalorian Era of Adventure before, just so I can let them know, hey, there's some new buddy clips that came out in this collection, right? So really specific. Then, of course, you have your business analysis review. That is your bar report, people. Now, I am bar certified. I am super excited about that. I love the bar, but let me tell you, that is very high. You want to really drill down, okay? Not everybody is probably going to use that with their team, but there are going to be certain times where it's going to be very helpful. Specifically, if I'm working with a team member who is really working on that promotion, maybe we want to take a look back down memory lane and see, where were you a year ago? How much have you grown? Those kind of things. Everyone does have access to their own bar report. So you can, of course, go in here. You'll see your information. Depending on how long you've been a consultant will depend on how far back you can go, okay? So you can really analyze a lot of numbers this way. A lot of numbers happening there. That, again, probably maybe not for most people to get into that, But for somebody like me who really likes a deep dive every so often, that is a perfect place to do that. And specifically, like I said, when I'm working with team members. So that is the sales report tab. So on the My Performance tab, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. Now you'll see that I have over here on the, well, on my screen, it's on the left-hand side, under leadership reports, I have a lot of saved reports, over here. I like being able to just click and go. And there's different things that I'm looking for different times of the month. For example, maybe I want to look at my frontline and my specific team, remember, not my directors and their people, but my specific team. And maybe I just want to shout out, or I want to see who is in that 200 to 499 PRV range, right? So that will help me to then look and see, and if they're leader above, be able to tell them, hey, we want to be able to work to get you over 500, so that way you can get your leadership bonuses to be paid at title, right? So that helps me out with those things. New promotions is another one. Lead and star paid at title watch. So I like to see who is really doing it month over month over month, who is getting super close to that paid at title point for if they're a star or above, and lead and above. Annual sales, annual mentor, those are awards that anyone can earn no matter what your title or rank in Scentsy. But so these are, again, just ones that I've saved. And I think some that show up for everybody that were like default, I believe, a sensational start. I believe shooting star promotions will cancel. I mean, I've been in my workstation since 2012, so I have a lot of info in here, and I honestly cannot remember which ones were here before I started really digging into reporting. Underneath that, though, we have our downline report. Okay, so again, as a star director, I have directors on my team. So this is very specific for anybody who has a director. So if you don't have a director yet, then everything you're going to need is going to be in that start leadership report. Okay, everything, because you're going to see everybody, right? Remember, in my downline, I have my team, which is everybody who has me as a director or star director. And then I have everybody who is under my directors. They're separate. So in a downline report, that's going to allow me to see everybody, my team and my directors and everybody who reports to them. So if I want to look at the group as a whole, downline report is where I go. You'll see, again, I have some saved reports here. I want to say that my personal volumes by order is probably a default. I really don't think that I did that. Maybe group overview is. The rest of these I have created and just saved. You also here have your downline roll-up report. This is where you can find, remember, Scentsy has in place one of our ways in order to be able to really stay on track with our business is we have to, if we are a title of leader above, we have to be active, which is a minimum of 200 PRV every 4 months in order to keep our downline. If we aren't doing that, then what happens is you will lose your downline permanently. I really don't think that there are ways that you can get them back. So again, if you're a leader above and you have a team and you're building a team, maybe you're just not that engaged in your business at the moment, you still need to make sure that you are at least following the guidelines of being active once every 4 months, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna lose your downline. So I have that report. You may, I mean, this will show on your screen unless someone is rolling up to you from a team member, then there's not going to be any information there. I did have a team member who lost her line last month. So I've been working in this report for the last day, really working and pulling in those team members who have now rolled up to me, and I am now their sponsor. So that is very helpful. You also, at the very bottom here, you have commissions history. So this is like the place to go when it comes to payday. All right. So 9 times out of 10, if you are awaiting payday, right? If you want to see if it's getting ready to drop, which is kind of how we look at it, you can go to the commissions history. And in commissions history, if it shows, like right now, it's December 2nd. So when it gets to payday, right, I'm going to be looking for November on that commission history. But at any time, I can go back and see what my paycheck was, no matter what year or month it was. So it's really kind of neat to be able to see again, comparison year to year, that kind of thing, right? I can really see month to month that way as well. I can do that from the bar too, from the bar report, but it's very easy for everybody to just go to commission history there. But once you see it loaded for last month and it's not yet payday, so that's when you know, okay, it's there. That means it's about to start hitting my pay card. So that's like really exciting. So that's kind of a little, did you know kind of a trick. All right. So that's how the reports go in your reporting section. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull up this report because it says test, and it's one that I use when I am training, but it's also here because I do not have any names. Okay. So I've specifically created this report minus names and consultant ID numbers. Because I don't want anyone's information to be shared, right? So this is completely anonymous, but it also allows you to see really kind of how this report looks. Okay. So here we go. Now, depending on how large your team is, you may need to filter up here in results per page. So you can see it will show me 50 on a page at a time, 100 or 250. I have a larger team and group, and so I always just default to the 250 because I want to see as many as I can at a time. I am going to show you though what I actually do every month. Well, actually every week when I run reports. So at a glance, like I said, normally if you were to just pull up a report, you would see names and everything else. Again, remember, I'm not pulling that up for that reason. We're just looking at numbers here. Now, this report, right? I could look down and I could say, oh, look, here's Sally. She's already almost active and it's the 2nd of the month. Oh my goodness, I'm going to give her a shout out real quick, right? So that would be something you might be looking for. You can see here, oh, maybe Joe is over here and Joe's gotten over 200 in PRV. He's already active for the month. Fantastic. Let's give him big kudos, right? I can see at a glance where everyone is at. There's a couple columns on here that I want to draw your attention to first. So the very first one is the will terminate. Okay. Now, again, remember, losing your downline, you have to be active once every 4 months in order to retain your status just as a consultant. So that consultant that I said earlier, her downline rolled up to me last month because she hadn't been active in 4 months in a row. She is, however, still a consultant. So she just drops down to a non-leadership role. And really what that is doing is that's allowing someone who maybe is not working their business, is not following their business as much. And that allows the upline sponsor, whoever that upline is, to then be able to help those team members. That's really the biggest piece of why they're doing that way. So for those of you trying to figure out why do they do that, it's for that reason alone, because we don't want to see team members who may need help. And even though I am their, upline director and star director and all of that, they may be 4 or 5 people down from me, and maybe they've never had a conversation with me. So they don't really know to reach out to me, right? So I want to make sure that I am following with them and I am helping them out. So the will terminate really applies to our only rule to stay a consultant with Scentsy is you have to have a minimum of 200 PRV, otherwise known as active. You have to be active once every 12 months. So basically once in a year, you have to have 1 month where you do at least 200. It's pretty doable, right? Even for those who just do Scentsy as a hobby, this is pretty darn doable. But if I want to see if somebody is up for termination because they haven't been active in over a year, this is how I'm going to find out. So I'm going to go to that will terminate column. I'm just going to scroll down because I know I did see one. There's one right there. Look, there's a check mark. That tells me they're going to terminate at the end of this month, right? Now, here's the thing. They joined November 23rd of last year. So that tells me they probably haven't really done anything. They are an essential consultant still, so they haven't even gotten their first 1,000, right? But this happens a lot, you guys. We have people who join Scentsy and maybe they just find out it's not for them, or they just really aren't that interested for whatever the reason is. It's just not their time. That's fine. But what I will do with this, in this case, is I will go through and I will then pull the people. I normally, again, on a regular report, I'd have their name and their email and all that, right? So I will reach out to these people who have a check mark and say, hey, heads up, you need to be able to get 200, a minimum of 200 PRV in by the end of the month in order to stay a consultant with Scentsy. I'd hate to see you go, right? So that's really what that is for me to be able to do that. There's a couple more on here. I can see, again, just at a glance, both of those are also essential consultants. But you can see either they've rejoined or they've been consultants for a little while. So again, maybe they've just determined that this isn't for them or it wasn't working out. Here's another one. That one is at least a certified consultant, but just hasn't been active. Another one. So you'll see these and you'll want to run this at least once a month just to kind of see or have an idea of how many people may or may not be rolling off, right? So you can see just on this first page, I've got a handful, right, that are probably going to be rolling off unless they end up doing something. So I'm going to be reaching out to all of those people and contacting them. Now, I can also see very easily what their PRV is, what their team wholesale volume is, and what their group wholesale volume is. Remember, there's 4 ways that we want to be tracking and helping our team, and that is in PRV, so in sales. We want to know what their GWV is. We want to know how many active frontline they have, right? And we also want to know how many people they're sponsoring. So we want to know if they're sponsoring at all. Active frontline is what is going to help them be paid at title. Remember, that's part of being paid at title is you have to have a certain number of active frontline every single month. You have to have a certain PRV, which is 500 or above. And depending on the title, that is what is going to determine your group wholesale volume or your GWV. So those things have to be met. So very easily, right? I can look down the line and I can kind of see where people are. Now, another thing with the reporting when you are here, the first thing I'm going to go ahead and show is I'm just going to toggle. You can click on any one of these columns at the top. I'm going to click on this once, and this is going to be ascending. So that means it's going to start at the very top and then sort down, right? So you can see that this person here, this is one of my directors, is already over 500 for the month. There's her team, her group, not yet any active frontline or new recruits, but I know that she will. But however, I can just very easily at a glance see where we are. I can then see who else is already on the board, so to speak, right, for the month. So you can see it just keeps going down all the way down to this $1.65. Maybe somebody got a light bulb. I don't know. Closed the party, and that was the PRV after the party. I don't know, but you'll see all of those there. So that's how I can toggle that. Maybe I want to see who has the most. Now, it's the beginning of the month. It's probably, oh, look at that. All right. So, new recruits 2, no, 0. I was like, what? Yeah, no, 0. And I'm just going to double check, but yeah, that is new recruits 0. So nobody has any recruits yet or has sponsored anyone yet, but it's still early. I'm going to go ahead and toggle here to active frontline. So you can see, again, it starts with ascending. So starting at the top, going down, those people already have at least one active front line. All right. So that's a good thing. Those are trends that we want to be able to look at. Now, another thing, and this is, I told you I was going to show you what I actually do. So when I'm doing reporting, yes, I can pull this from my phone. I can pull this from my iPad, whatever, and pull this up very easily when it's in my workstation. But here's the thing. Once a week, I actually pull this full group report is what it is. It's one of my saved reports, and I pull that group report and it has everything I need in it. And what I do is I actually export it to Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and export this just so you can get a look at what this looks like. So it's downloading a zip file. I just double click on that and it's going to pull up. And now I can go over here. I can open it in Excel. It's going to take it just a second. There we go. All right. So again, you'll see I don't have any information on here, but you probably will, right? You're not going to want to take out the names. You're going to want to know who it is, right? But for this test environment, I just wanted you to see. So here in Excel, this is exactly what I do. So when I'm pulling a report into Excel, I can then like move my columns over in Excel. Actually, let's spread this guy out a little bit farther. So you see where it just gives that line with the two arrows, right? So when you see that pop up, you click and drag to where you want it. I just pull it in so it's a little bit closer together, easier for me to read. Pull that active frontline, new recruits. So you can see this is everything that was already on my screen from the workstation. Obviously, you're going to have more columns here, okay? But now I'm a little bit of, not a little bit, I'm OCD. So I have to turn everything into dollars. In order to do that, you just click on the top of the column there. So you can see it highlights that whole column. Then I click to the dollar sign and it will automatically convert it to dollars. You can do the same thing if you have a different currency. You can just choose that down arrow and you can see, you can change your currency there if you need to. All right, so that's how I can format those columns. Those are the only ones that I really format just because I come from an accounting background. And so for me, I need to see dollars and cents. I need to see it. It makes my life better. On here though, you can see when we hopped into Excel, we are no longer seeing check marks. We're seeing a true or false in the will terminate section. So on the will terminate, if they had a check mark, it will say true. So I do remember we had some, so you'll see here, that's where it says true. So again, just like we were in Excel, I can see exactly there. Now you can use reports for all kinds of different things. But let me just show you very quickly in Excel what else we can do. So I'm going to highlight this top column. I'm going to come up here to the colors. This is going to be a fill color. Maybe I want to make that green. That way it looks a little bit better, right? It's easier for me to read. Maybe I want to come through here and highlight the people who are, you know, at least on the board, so to speak, right? So I'm just going to pick a color. Come down here, click to highlight. Okay, you can see how I'm doing that. And again, just because I am a very visual person, this helps me out a whole heck of a lot, right? So literally at a glance, I can see this and just kind of be able to go down, pick out those people, send out emails, kudos, whatever it is that I'm doing, and go from there. Let's see here. What else can I show you in Excel that you'll probably need? Hey, let's look at wrapping text. Have you ever wanted to know how you do that, right? So you see in this, you can see it says will terminate, but here on my screen, because I made the box smaller, right? It just says will right? It starts to dwindle off. If you click the wrap text button up there, you'll see it makes that text actually fit inside the whole box. So I can spread that out a little bit more. And there we go. Now I can see that full title. Maybe I want to go through here and I want this to really look pretty and I want it to be centered in each column. I can go up here to the alignment, click on the center. That puts it in the center of each column. Now, maybe you can see there's like background boxes here, right? But they aren't really standing out. I want these to stand out. So I'm going to click and drag all the way down to the bottom, just the boxes that I want. So I'm gonna go to the bottom of my list, stop. Okay, so now it's all highlighted. And now if I come up here to this little, it says bottom border, but it's the border box. So click that little down chevron so you get more options. I'm gonna click where it says all borders. Now, when I do that, you'll see that really boxes it out and makes it maybe a little bit easier. So if you're trying to find easier ways to read reports, this is going to be key for you. Also, when you print it out, those lines will show up. These over here, the gray ones, will not when you print, okay? Unless you do some settings and do all the things. There's a lot of extra steps to do that. Normally you're not going to do that, but if you're going to print this out, maybe you are pen and paper and you keep a binder system or what have you, right? Maybe you want to print this out at the beginning and the end of every month just so you can see where your team is at, right? That's a really great way to help with your systems, to trend how consultants are doing in your downline, things like that. So lots of different ways that you can utilize this. Now that it is in an Excel format though, right, I can pretty much manipulate this as much as I want, right? So I can click on this column here. Actually, I'm going to click on the PRV column. So you'll see when I click up here in this column, it's another, let me define that. Across the numbers are rows. These are columns. All right. So rows, columns. Okay. I've highlighted the B column. Now I want to actually come over here and I want to sort this just like I was doing on the workstation. If I come to the sort and filter icon, I can sort smallest to largest, which if I wanted to start with everybody who has 0, then I could, but I normally will sort largest to smallest. So I click that. Mine always gives me a warning, and I do that just because I want to make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm doing. All right, it says, what do you want to do? Data outside your current selection won't be sorted. Yeah, I know. So sort. So you'll see now it is sorted by this column. So that's going to move all the other information with it. So it sticks with it, right? So everything is stuck together. This person, it is still their information. This person, it is still their information, right? It all is in alignment. So I can do it that way and be able to run reports. When I do have email addresses in here, and let's just say that I do, I'm going to come over here, email. Let's go ahead and just say, I don't know, Scentsy@me.com. Okay. you@you.com, right? Whatever their emails are. Okay. They're already in there because they're going to pull from your workstation. All right. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. But what I do is when I am ready to maybe send out emails to specific team members, I can do that very easily because I'm going to have their name and their emails in here. So then all I have to do is copy all of the people who I want to send an email to. So click and drag. And then once that's already highlighted, I right click and I click copy. You'll see it. I know that it's being copied because everything that's in that little box there that has the moving lines, right, is what's going to go with me. Then I can go into my email and then I can paste that in, and very quickly I've been able to, instead of retyping everybody's email address, all I had to do was click copy and paste into email, and then I can send out an email. Maybe it's everybody who is already active for the month and it's, you know, congratulations on being active for the month. That's a great accomplishment. Let's keep going. I can't wait to see where you go this month. There we go. There, we've already gotten everything done and taken care of. All right, so those are hopefully some things that will really help you with Excel. All right, so I wanted you to see that. All right, so now we're back in the workstation. Maybe you want to come in here and you want to create of reports. I'm going to create a report from what I have, just because, again, I don't want to show everybody's information. So let's say that I just started leadership report. I would click there. I'm not going to do that because it's going to show people's info. So I'm just going to start from here. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say choose visible columns, and I click on that. And you're going to see these are all the columns that I already have in this report, right? Maybe I want to just start from scratch. So to do that, I just click remove all. It's a really easy way to do that. All right, so you can look to see, do you want their title? Yes or no? I like to see the title so I know where my consultants are. Do I want to see their PRV? Probably. TWV, GWV? Yeah, probably do. Maybe I just want to focus on the will terminate. Maybe that's what I really want to focus on, right? Of course, I would then also click name, right? I'd click that little plus sign right there to get their name in there. If maybe I want to also send them an email, I would come down here, add their email. Maybe I want to see their home phone number so I can give them a call or a text, what have you. Maybe I want to see their lifetime PRV. Let's go ahead and pull that up too, right? So those might be the things you want. Maybe you need their addresses because you want to be able to import that, maybe to send out some mailing, things of that nature, right? So everything on this side where it says 6 items selected, that's everything that's going to show in this report. Now I'm just going to click OK. I've got everything that I want to show up. Click OK. Now you'll see I've got a whole different viewpoint of what's happening here. All right, so I'm going to look through here. I'm going to go ahead and click on the will terminate because I want to sort. And remember, it's going to go ascending, right? It's going to start at the top. So you can see at a glance very easily all these check marks that I have here, okay? I also, because I pulled in their lifetime PRV, I can see, now I can also see over here if they're certified or not, but it just kind of, again, helps me when I'm, specifically when I'm looking at will terminate. You can see there are a couple on here where they've literally done 0 sales for an entire year, 0, right? That is going to happen and it's okay. It's fine. Again, maybe this wasn't for them. Maybe they just didn't get into it, what have you. So I see at a glance, they have never put in an order, never gotten a cent of the month, never done anything, right? So those are the people I might reach out to and say, you know, I know it's been a while. You've been with Scentsy. You are up for termination, meaning you will lose your status this month or at the end of this month. However, I'd love to keep you on as a customer. Please let me know if it's okay if I add you to my mailing list, right? So maybe I want to make them a customer again rather than a team member. Maybe being a team member just wasn't for them. They'd rather just be a customer. Who knows? It's at least worth having the conversation. But I can also see, you know, I can see that, excuse me, there are some people who have done some stuff in their time, right? Now, I could have also put the join date in here. That would have probably helped a little bit more, but I can just see, you know, over the course of the year, how much, or the course of them being a consultant, if it's been a few years, right? You know, what have they done? Did they, you know, start falling off at one point in time or another? Was it around the holidays? Maybe they had someone who got sick in their family. Maybe they had a major life event happen, right? And maybe that's why they just kind of got out of the habit of Scentsy. And so being able to reach out to them is going to give me a good ability to maybe try and pull them back in, give them a little bit of help if they need it, or maybe it's time to just kind of bless and release, you know, okay, I just want to let you know, I understand this isn't for you. I still always will offer, would you like to continue to be my customer? But because you never know, right? So all right, so that is just a very high overview of how you can utilize reports to do different things in your business. So you can do shout outs, you can sort by that PRV, you can sort by new recruits, you can see who has sponsored so far this month, you can sort by will terminate, who is going to be terminating or being their active consultant status is going to go away, right? You can look to see in a PRV range how that is going to look. All of those different things are going to help you to work your business smarter, be a stronger leader, be able to really dig in and help your team members with what they are trying to accomplish in their business. What does success look like to them? And being able to do that is just priceless. So I hope this has helped. I will see you all again soon and have a great day.